Hi, this is Dr. Kang's scuba diving story, and today I'd like to introduce you on an island or islands called the Camotes. These islands are located in Philippines, in about 1 hour and a half from Cebu, Cebu. So I had the chance to go to this island to help some college student to learn scuba diving. And on this particular trip I had about 13 diving, and I have seen a very beautiful island called the Tulang Diot, and I found something very dirty underwater, and that's why I decided I will make this video. So to go from where is she? I'm not really sure if I can call an island a she or a he or anything, but where is it? The meaning of Camotes. There is a very interesting and beautiful lake called the Danao Lake, and there I will introduce you some dive sites, and then finally the Tulang Island Underwater Park. In Philippines, there's about 7,107 islands in Philippines. I once ran a dive resort called the Dive 7000 in Anilao, Batangas, Philippines, and the name of the resort was 7000 because there are this many islands in Philippines. It's about 1.5 hour ferry from Mactan Ferry. There are two big islands connected by a road which is about 8 kilometers. It's a long connecting road. Cars can run on it. They are like Pasijan Island and Poro Island. There's another island, it's Ponson, and then Tulang Diot. So these four are parts of Camotes Islands. The main is the Philippines, and there's let's see where Manila is. It's up here, and then Cebu, and little bit somewhere here. Cebu, and here is a Camotes Island. Actually, Bohol, very famous dive site. Lite too. This a lot of whale sharks. Tacloban also. So, Philippines, there are a lot of dive sites. A lot of good dive sites. Now the island look a little clear, and if we get closer, it looks like these. So this is a main Pasian Island. This is Poro Island. There is a connecting road. So these two are the main, and Ponson Island here, and there is a small Tulang Diot Island. So this is Tulang, and this is lake called the Danao. Very interesting place. So what is the meaning of Camotes? Camote means in Philippine language sweet potato. I tried it. It was a little different from what we have in Korea, and it was also a little different from what I had from America. Do they call it yam? It looked very similar, but certainly tasted quite different. Which one I like better? Of course, I like Korean sweet potato most. When Spain occupied Philippines, some soldiers arrived on this island. They found a couple of Filipino working on the field, and they asked, "What's the name of this island?" Filipinos thought they are asking what they are dealing with, so they answered like Camotes, and the name of the island came from this story, which is hard to believe. Maybe they call it Camotes Island because they make a lot of camote there. Okay, and then Danao Lake, a very, very beautiful lake. It's a freshwater lake, and somehow through underwater cave, it is connected to the ocean. So at the bottom it's some salt water, but it is mostly a freshwater lake. It supplies enough water for the entire island, for agriculture, for factories, for drinking. Because of this lake, Camotes becomes a very lucky island. People never get short of water. There is a mineral water factory. It is run by the owner of the lake, who they say owns 1/3 of the entire island. They were pumping up the lake water, and they were somehow putting them into a plastic bottle. Of course, they use filtering machines. Danao Lake looked like this. It is very big, considering the size of an island. This was a very big lake. It reminded me of the lake in Cambodia, which was like an ocean. But this was not that big, but still very big. I don't remember a lake this big in Korea. It's a very, very beautiful lake. Let me talk a little bit about the dive sites there. So far there are only 3 or 4 dive resorts or dive centers. I haven't seen a dive resort. Only dive centers. They have guests, and then they send them to some of the resort there, and they run the diving business only. But there were 25 named dive sites, and among them 6, there are actually many more caves, but 6 were somehow developed, and they have lines inside, and they are quite long. The longest can go as long as 500 meters, and it comes into the lake. These are the dive sites that I have dived on this trip, and though those were pretty, but the only thing that I missed were lots of fish. There were fish, but not as many as I expected. Somehow, some people made what they call underwater park at the Tulang Island. This is, in a way, one of 4 main islands, or some people put it as a satellite island. Then it becomes 5 satellite island. But it's a small but very, very beautiful island. Let's take a look at this. It looks like a chicken leg. Yeah, but the island itself is very, very beautiful. They don't have water source, but still like 400-500 people living here, they have to get the water from the lake. So every day, the main island and the Tulang Diot island is not very far. You can just see right across the ocean, but they get water from the main. They call it Tulang. I forgot the Filipino name for big, but Tulang Diot is small Tulang. On the water, it was very impressive with a lot of seagrass. As most of you should know, seagrass is a source of life for underwater lives because they somehow photosynthesize, so they produce oxygen. So if you see the seagrass field, we should never damage them. They are a very important part of ocean life. There are other things too, but to me, seagrass field was most impressive. Problem was, I have seen these things underwater. Well, somehow they look interesting, but I didn't really understand why they did it. They probably made this to make a vista point for divers, especially free divers, because the depth was like 5 meters. When water was up tide, it was like 6 meters. When it was low tide, it was 4.5 meter only. So I found some letters on the water. So these were built in 2019, May 24th. And there are some names of those people who have done this. My issue on this underwater park, what I heard is this was not built by Filipino. So that means they didn't decide to do it. I hope they let those people who has done it to do it, get the permission. But anyway, what they call park, the park itself and the whole surrounding, in a vast area, the grass fields were devastated. I don't know how good the divers have done this. How good a diver, how experienced and trained to do things like this. But for me to see, it was whole mess. It was devastated actually. Also, they put some concrete structure at the bottom above the grasses. They put their names on it. Depth was very shallow, which means when we have next typhoon or hurricane, they are going to be trashed. They will turn into a whole mess of trash. My recommendation for the team who has done this, to go back immediately and remove them from underwater. When somebody do things like this, they have to search the whole area and find some very safe place for the structure, safe place for underwater environment, and it's better they don't do this. I hope people don't do this. Don't ever destroy underwater environment. Let them live their way. So I tried to introduce Camotes Islands, and actually my intention was excuse me, introducing Tulang Island underwater park. If you are interested, you have to go immediately. Otherwise, I hope they will go back and remove all of them out of beautiful underwater world. So it was Camote Island today, and thank you very much for your attention.